All right, guys, so I'm gonna create a cliff note on a negative feedback. Negative feedback, negative feedback that we discussed today in class. So I'm gonna use an example of a blood pressure. So let's say we have a set point. Set point is something that is set by your system. Um, so let's say you have a certain set point, a certain blood pressure that your body wants to keep the blood pressure at that particular point. So some type of a stimulus, internal, external stimulus, increased your blood pressure. So, and from the homeostatic set, from homeostasis, this was your homeostasis. So from this level, from that set point, your blood pressure went up again by different types of stimuluses. Internal stimulus, external stimulus, something caused to increase blood pressure. As soon as the blood pressure went up, certain sensors in your body, in your system, detected that the blood pressure is high. So now the blood pressure needs to go down. You have another type of system or an organ called effector that is responsible to decrease blood pressure. So that effector, that sensors detected that the blood pressure went up, and the effector and the sensors communicated to higher regions in your body through multiple communications. The effector now needs to respond to those sensors that the blood pressure went up. The effectors now needs to decrease blood pressure, and the blood pressure has to get down to this particular set point to get to homeostasis of this particular system. So when the effector responded to the stimulus sensors, it gets the blood pressure gets back to the set point. Then a negative feedback would be something that will communicate to the effector, telling the effector, stop dropping blood pressure. I just reached the set point. I'm completely fine. If negative feedback system would not exist, the effector, an organ or the other part of the system that is responsible to lower blood pressure, will keep lowering blood pressure until you drop that, because the blood pressure will drop. So the negative feedback is responsible, calling that effector, telling, I'm fine, stop decreasing blood pressure, you just reached the set point. This is a negative feedback, telling the effector, I'm completely fine, removing that from the stimulus.